Hello everyone, welcome to the online video tutorial series of computer network subject. In this video, I will explain the basic protocol which are used in application layer that is relevant to email and DNS. I am Jishan, Assistant Professor in IT/ICT Department of LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. So let's see the today's outline. So that is all about the first topic. I discuss about the how the email is working. Then SMTP protocol that is used for email transferring, that is your simple mail transfer protocol. Then the protocols which are used for email accessing, that is your POP3 and IMAP protocol. And at the last we are discussing about the DNS protocol which are used for mapping our URL into the IP address. So let's start with our today's topic first, that is email. So email is nothing but it is a communication channel through which in modern areas people are communicating with each other. So we can say that email is nothing but transparently background we are using a communication link through which our message is transferring. But the type of messages are variant here. That is not simple text messages. So a message with attachment, email with hyperlinks, then our formatted text also supportable. Then we can embed the photos also. So in email, in shortly, we can send a message with a user-defined format. So how the particular components are related to our email. So that is, email is totally divided into the three parts. First is user agent, second is mail server, and third one is SMTP, that is your simple mail transfer protocol. So when we are seeing any email format, it contains a standard format. That format contains a sender address, receiver address, subject, and body message. That body message contains a number of predefined formats. According to that formats, our data can be transferred. So let's understand key components of email next. So when we are talking about the key components of email, that are divided into the three parts. First is all about user agent, second is mail server, and third one is SMTP. So what is the role of user agent here? So user agent is allow the user to read, reply, forward, save, and compose message. So that provides one GUI on one standard that is used by the user. For example, we are using the Microsoft Outlook, Gmail, then Apple Mail. That GUI is all about the user agent application through which user is accessing the properties of email. Now next is mail server. So mail server is our mailbox that contains the incoming message for the user. A message queue of outgoing to be sent to the mail messages. So what are the data is incoming in the server in our GUI, how the data is sending to the particular user, that is maintenance is done by our mail server. But for that, what does the mechanism use? That is all about the SMTP. So SMTP is our principal application layer protocol that is between our mail server to send the email message. So at the application layer for email, SMTP protocol is responsible. That provides one interface between our user and background our protocol. So at the client side, it's sending the mail to the server, and the server side, it receives the email from the other different mail server. So this is the basic three parts how the email is working. That is all about the user agent, mail server, and SMTP. Now understand how the email is depend on our SMTP. So simple mail transfer protocol used for sending and receiving email. It is used TCP reliable transfer protocol for client server communication, and it is used port number 25. It restricts the body part of our email. It is just because of headers and two parts are different here, and it uses the ASCII 7 bits mechanism here. SMTP doesn't use any intermediate mail server. Suppose if we are telling the case, if receiving end of mail server is down right now, so message remains at the sender side here, It is not buffered in any intermediate mail server. So direct sender and receiver is used. For example, if you are using Gmail, so Gmail is working at the client side and server side. No intermediate mail server is used. This mechanism is handled by our SMTP protocol. So let's understand whole cycle how SMTP is working. So consider this scenario. For example, X and Y is source and destination here. How the email communication is working here. So here we can say that step number 1, Alice is available at the sender side and Bob is available at the receiver side. So in the step number 1, Alice uses a user agent, that is our particular mailbox. Okay, what the particular vendor is provided to compose the message to email address, that is our abc.xyz.com. Now, what is how that particular data is sent to the receiver? In between, there are intermediate 4 steps. So, our second number step is all about Alice user agent send a message to her mail server. So, first case is all about is uses the user agent, but that user agent is send that message to particular source mail agent, mail server, that is what. A message placed into the message queue. Now next, in step number 3. So here it is all about step number 1 and 2 to composing mail and sending the mail. But how the connection is established between sender and receiver. So that is the task of our SMTP. So at the client side of SMTP, it opens the TCP connection with Bob's mail server. Now in the step number 4, SMTP client sends a Alice message over the TCP connection. So up to the step number 4, we are composing mail, sending the mail into the queue, open the TCP connection and send the message over that particular TCP connection. Now in the step number 5, Bob's mail server places the message into the Bob's mail box, and in the step number 6, Bob invokes the user agent to read the messages. So this is the basic example of how our particular every email addresses when we are using to compose a mail and receiving mail. These 6 steps are used. First is all about the composing, second is all about the maintaining our client side server, then we have to open the TCP connection, then establishing the connection, then send this particular, that data is received at the receiver side, and that data of email is pop up at the receiver mailbox. Now we are moving to the email access protocols. So the concept we are using here, SMTP background, which mechanism is used? For that we are using basically 3 protocols, POP3 and IMAP. So when we are talking about the POP3, the full form of POP3 is all about Post Office Protocol. 3 is denoting that is the version, and IMAP is all about Internet Mail Access Protocol. So a mail access protocol such as POP3 is used to transfer mail from recipient's mail server to recipient's user server. So when we are talking about the transferring message over the network, the work of transferring message, it is performed by our which protocol? POP3 protocol. So the task of email server is divided into the 2 parts here. So POP3 is working extremely simply here. That establishes the TCP connection in the 3 phases. First phase is authorization, second phase is transaction, and third phase is update. So let's understand all 3 phases one by one. So in authorization, the user agent sends a username and password, that is our authentication. The step number 2 is all about the transaction. So transaction is all about the user agent retrieves the message, mark the message like a delete, it removes the deletion, it obtains the statistics. It's all about the marking and deletion process that tells about the transaction. And the last one is all about the updation. So after a quiet command by client, it's ending the POP3 session and the mail server deletes the message. So 3 parts are performed by our POP3 protocol, that is authorization, transaction and updation. So POP3 is designed to delete mail on the server as soon as the user has downloaded it. Now we are talking about the next protocol used by email, that is our IMAP. So IMAP is all about the Internet Mail Access Protocol. So to keep all the messages at one place at the server side, the task is performed by our which protocol? IMAP protocol. The recipient can then move and organize the message into the new folder. User create that folder, it read the message, delete the message, move that email from one folder to another folder. That is all about the management. If we are searching the particular specific email in our mailbox, if we are organizing the categories, so all that permission are maintained by our email. So allow the permit user to obtain the component of message when the low bandwidth is connection is available. Then we are just using the simple mail here. We are not attaching the particular files. So that is the case of all the organization of email is performed by email protocol. So our email task will be divided by the two protocols. POP3, that is the total organization, that is all about the authorization transaction. And then we are talking about the IMAP that manages how the email is maintaining at the server side to client side. Now, we are moving to the second protocol of this layer, that is all about the DNS. So DNS stands for Domain Name System. So when we are using the URL for searching any website, what the happen at the background side? For example, we are searching www.google.com. So our machine is knowing exactly Google, yes or no? No. For machine, each and every terms will be on the 01010. So particular google.com having also that type of value, and we already know that each and every machine having unique number of identification that is provided by our network layer, and that is our IP address. So each and every our machines IP address are combined with particular URL name. So each and every website name having one specific IP address. So when we are requesting for that particular name, in the background it is converted to specific IP address. The task of translating this thing will be performed by our DNS server. So why we are using this type of context? Because at the human terminology, we are not easily remember all that IP addresses. So except we have to perform this type of task. So DNS server is performing this task of converting our IP address into the number. So it is the internet service that translate our domain name into the IP address. It is application layer protocol. DNS service must translate the domain name into the corresponding IP address at the application layer. In the DNS system, if DNS server doesn't know the particular DNS name into the IP address, so what happened here? It will forward that particular DNS to its higher authority, that is higher DNS server. If it knows, then it gives the response, otherwise our request is returned. So this is the sequence how our particular DNS is translated into this particular IP address. For that, we can say that DNS is categorized into the different tree structures. So one root is available and different channels are there. So according to that, DNS divided into the different parts. So for example, here root is available. Now different three channels are available. Now that DNS is divided into the different categories. So suppose DNS client wants to determine the IP address of host Amazon.com. So how exactly particular request is translated in the background? So the client contact on the root server here. For example, root server is all about the main root. Now, if it is capable to give the answer or not. If it returns the IP address for that particular data item, that is all about the top level domain. So top level domain is available at the root side. If it is not contain the answer, then that transfer the particular request to TLD server. The TLD server return the IP address to authoritative server. So authoritative server is responsible to given this particular name, and that particular name will be mapped into the IP address, and user will retrieve the answer from that server and give this answer into the user agent. Now we are moving to these terminologies in detail. So what is TLD server, which will be used by our root hierarchy? So that is all about the top level domain servers. So what are the top level domain server? So we already see some URLs, that is end with .in, .ca, .com. So that type of services is known as a top level domain service, and that is provided by our ISP network solution. Now we are moving to our educational services. So for that we are using .edu. For organizational we are using .org. So this type of services is provided by our top level domain server. Next is authoritative domain server. So when we are talking about the authoritative domain server, that is to organize our DNS server into the sub hierarchy. We provide the authoritative host name to IP mapping for organizing the name host name. So top level part will be divided into the sub part for more reliable management. That is our domain authoritative DNS server. So it can be maintained by our ISP also. And the last is all about the local DNS name server. So local DNS name server is used to just mapping our URL to particular user host when we are requested. So this is the basic idea how DNS is working. So here the local DNS is working as a proxy for sending and receiving our request in the hierarchy model. So when we are talking about the exact mapping of particular IP address to name, for that different method is used. Iterative method used, recursive method used. So let's understand how the particular recursive query method is used. So suppose our requesting host is available, that is our holy.edu. Now it is requested for address, that is our umesh.edu. Our total root hierarchy is defined. Host is available at this place, receiver is available at that place. So how the request is going on from proxy to our original server. So first number is telling that our request is sent to our local DNS server, that is at the user side. Now that local DNS server is translating our query to our root DNS server, because root DNS server is knowing what are the exact authoritative server is available. Now that root DNS server is sending the request to TLD DNS server, that is our top level domain services, and that top level domain service is exactly forward that message to exact the domain for what we are requested. Now that domain is respond the answer that will be shown in your number 5 to our TLD DNS server. That server is response to our root DNS server. That response is generated to our local DNS server and it display the answer in our user icon. So this is the flow of how our particular DNS is working. So this is all about DNS is working. Now the last topic of today's video is all about socket programming. So how the socket program is working. Already we discussed concept of socket in transport layer, multiplexing and demultiplexing of connection oriented and connection less space. So at that time we know already socket is all about the endpoint from where our request is coming in and request out when we are talking about the process to process communication. When we are talking about the only end-to-end communication, at that time we know only the IP address. But when we are talking about process to process communication, we require IP address as well as port number. So from machine, when we are requested one process to another process, we require our endpoint. Then socket is provide one interface between different application and network. So here application create one socket. Socket that will be two types, because transport layer provide two type of services. That services is based on TCP and UDP. So TCP socket is reliable transmission communication, where UDP is unreliable. So once the configuration is performed by socket, then sender and receiver are ready to communicate. But when we are talking about the TCP, it first creates the socket, then it provides the communication, then it provides the connection, then it send and receive the data, and then last it release the connection. But UDP is all about just it's having destination address, then it send the data unreliably. So we already know that is seen in this particular figure. Application layer transport layer, network layer, and our data link and receiver. Socket is available at the transport layer. It creates one port. That port is responsible for all the incoming and outgoing requests at the sender as well as receiver side. But it is controlled by that our app layer. And how our operating system is implementing socket is also the part of this. Now understand the basic terminologies are used at the socket from TCP and UDP. So this part, left hand side part is all about the TCP, right hand side part is all about UDP. So if you want to create TCP using socket programming using TCP, then you have to use sock underscore string class. If you want to use UDP, then you can use sock underscore dgram. So that is the case which classes are used in the part of programming. Now we are moving to the TCP side, then it's reliable because delivery is reliable because connection establishment, data transfer and connection release is there, whereas in UDP it is not provided. Now in TCP it gives the in order guarantee, in which order you are sending the data, at the same order it is the segment, that segment is providing the reassembly, but at the UDP side it is not guaranteed. So we can say that sock string class is provide connection oriented and as sock diagram is provide connection less service. Now when we are talking about sock string class, at the time both the direction sender and receiver can send and receive message, whereas in sock diagram it is a unidirectional. So this is the figure out. You can see how the socket is working at the TCP side. At the application layer, packet 1, 2, 3 can move at the time both in both the direction in the same order they are receiving the data. But you can see in the second figure at the receiver side at the sock diagram, all the data contents are sent in the different order. They are receiving the messages and they are not giving a assuring. So this is all about the socket programming overview. So application layer, what are you are learned till now, that is all about the principles of computer application. What is the browser, what is web server, what is client application, what is P2P application. Then I discuss about how the TCP and UDP services is used by our application layer. Then we discuss about in detail how web is working. In HTTP I discuss about HTTP connection, then what is persistent and non-persistent HTTP. And today's video I discuss about the email. The part of email will be user agent, mail server, and how the SMTP is working. In last we discuss about the DNS and socket programming. So this is all about your application layer, and this is the last video of your application layer. So this is all about our computer network syllabus. Thank you for watching this video.